Hello there, and welcome to Whispers to Sleep. My name is David, and I'm truly honored to be your guide tonight. Here we believe sleep is not just a routine. It's a gentle journey, a quiet return to peace every night. I craft stories with care, so your mind can rest and your body can soften all you need to do. Let go, take a slow deep breath in, and as you breathe out, allow the day to melt away. Close your eyes. Get cozy under the covers and let my voice lead you into calm, into comfort, into dreams. This is your time. Your memento. Truly relax. Let's begin. The window is open, and in that simple act, 1,000 worlds begin to drift in. A hush settles over the room. Not silence, but the kind of quiet that holds possibility. The last notes of sunlight lean across your floor, warm and slow, casting long golden shapes that stretch like the tail end of a yawn. You are lying still, your body wrapped in soft fabric and slow breath. As the evening begins to arrive, one breeze at a time, outside the city exhales. You feel it more than hear it. A distant hum, somewhere between a whisper and a memory. A car turns a corner 2 blocks away. A subway trembles faintly beneath your building. Voices rise and dissolve into air. Every sound is softened by distance, like it's been dipped in velvet, and through it all, the air moves, in and out of the open window, carrying warmth and weight like an unseen tide. That's the first science of the evening. Air pressure. It shifts invisibly, like emotion. Like time, the air outside is warmer than the air in your room, so it flows in, filling your space with the breath of the city. But it carries more than heat. It carries the smell of pavement still holding the day's sun, the scent of a passing bakery's final tray of warm bread, a hint of honeysuckle daring to grow near a fire escape. All of it floats in, uninvited but welcome. You close your eyes and listen. You are not separate from this world. You are part of the rhythm, tuned to it by evolution and instinct. Your ears are shaped like shells, collecting sound. Your skin detects every subtle change in temperature. Your lungs take in the breeze and turn it into life. Right now, they are doing it without your help. The diaphragm rising and falling in an ancient wave, drawing air in, pushing it out. In every breath, there's nitrogen, oxygen, trace amounts of carbon dioxide, and within that oxygen, a silent promise. Are alive. And tonight, you are still enough to feel it. The sun outside fades just a little more. Shadows grow into themselves. The line between light and dark becomes a gradient, not a border. And in this slow fading, something opens inside you too, a gentle awareness. Not of thoughts, but of space between them. You turn your head slightly. On the pillow, your cheek meeting cool cotton. Your eyes follow the lines of the curtain as it lifts and falls with the breeze. It's mesmerizing, the way it moves without will, responding only to physics and softness. That's fluid dynamics. The same invisible dance that moves the tides, shapes clouds, sculpts deserts. The curtain sways because the molecules in the air are bumping into it, nudging it like millions of tiny dancers, all moving to a choreography written in temperature and flow. They are the same molecules that brushed the skyscrapers earlier, that passed through the trees in Central Park, that warmed on a sunlit balcony just hours ago. They are old travelers. Some of them may have touched oceans before this. Others may have risen from hot asphalt or green grass or someone else's story. And now they enter your room. Now they touch your skin. Now they become part of your next breath. Everything is movement. Everything is connection. Outside the window, someone laughs. It's a soft laugh, not meant for you, but still shared. The sound slips between buildings and dips into your window like a feather caught in wind. You smile without realizing. There's something reassuring about knowing life continues, even when you are still. You don't need to move. You don't need to do anything. The evening is doing it all for you. Somewhere far away, the sun is slipping below the curve of the earth. But here, it lingers just long enough to make the sky blush. A soft orange deepening to purple, then indigo. Body begins to mirror this descent into quiet. Your muscles soften. Your thoughts stretch out like tired arms. The circadian rhythm begins its whisper, the biological clock nestled in your brain, gently dimming the lights inside you. Melatonin begins to rise in your bloodstream, responding to the dimming world. Outside, your body knows what to do. It has always known. All you need to do is let it. There is something sacred about beginnings. And this, right now, is one. The beginning of sleep. The beginning of slowing down. The beginning of a journey through science, not as a textbook, but as a lullaby. Tonight, you'll travel through the city, not with your feet, but with your breath. With your mind. With the gentle unfolding of questions that don't need immediate answers. Questions like, what does it mean to breathe the same air as a million strangers? What do light and heat and motion mean in the quiet of night? How does memory echo in a leaf, or a bridge, or a human mind? But those questions don't need answers yet. For now, your window is open, and the night is waiting. Your fingers curl slightly. Barely a motion, just enough to remind you that you're still here. A tiny sound, the creak of old wood expanding in cooling air, reminds you that the room is alive too, in its own way. Walls breathe. Floors shift. Windows hold back wind, but not entirely. The city hums again, steady and low, like a bass note beneath a lullaby. And the air continues to move, weaving itself into you. The day has ended, but the story is just beginning. And so, as your breath deepens and your eyelids grow heavier, you find yourself asking, not aloud, but inside, what else is the city trying to tell you, if you just stay quiet enough to hear it? You take a slow, full breath, not the kind you notice during the day, quick and task-bound, but the kind that feels like it comes from somewhere deeper. A breath that isn't just in your lungs, it's in your chest, your ribs, your skin. The air is warm. It rests heavy in the room, like a soft blanket draped over your body. You inhale, and the city exhales. You exhale, and the city seems to pause. There's a quiet conversation happening between you and everything else. And it starts with breath. You don't control this rhythm, not really. Your body knows how to do it on its own, the way it always has since the very first time. The first gasp of air you ever took was a beginning, a signal to the world. I'm here. And every breath since then has been a reminder. I'm still here. Oxygen enters your lungs and spreads, first through tiny bronchi, then into microscopic alveoli. These small, delicate air sacs open like flowers in a breeze. There, oxygen slips into your bloodstream, binds to hemoglobin, and begins its quiet journey to every cell. You don't feel this happening, but it happens just the same, all night. Every night. The subway hums below, a low, slow vibration that moves through the floor and up your bones. It doesn't disturb you. It reminds you that life moves, underfoot, underground, unseen. The subway is the city's heartbeat, thudding gently in the background, even when everything above seems still. Above you, a plane moves through the sky, its soft roar melting into the stars. The city is always moving, and yet somehow it also rests with you. This is the balance of being alive. Motion and stillness, inhaling and exhaling, input and release. You feel the weight of the air press gently against your skin. Atmospheric pressure, something we're always within, but rarely acknowledge. It touches every surface, wraps around your body, pushes air into your lungs, and you You let it dot this. 2 is a kind of trust, a kind of surrender. Outside the window, the trees sway slowly, leaves shimmering in the late light. They breathe too, in their own ancient way, drawing in carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen. Plants and people, tied together by the same invisible cycle. You think of that, how your exhale becomes a tree's inhale, how every breath you take comes from something older than you. The air you breathe tonight may once have been inside a glacier, or an eagle, or a flame. There is no new air, only traveling air, only borrowed breath. You close your eyes and picture your lungs, not as anatomy, but as dancers. Slow, graceful movement, a rising curtain, a falling veil. Inhale, pause, exhale, rest. That rhythm is your anchor now. In the quiet space between breaths, your body begins to let go. Your heart, too, follows this slower pace, each beat like a drop of water in a still pond. The parasympathetic nervous system begins to engage, sending soft signals throughout your body. It's okay to rest now. It's okay to be still. Your breath carries more than air. It carries feeling, memory, meaning. You remember a time long ago, maybe yesterday, when you stood outside and took a breath so deep it made you close your eyes. That breath is with you now, echoed in the one you take this moment. The science of respiration may be studied in textbooks, but it lives in moments like this. Your diaphragm lowers, creating negative pressure, pulling air in like a wave pulling. Back from shore, the intercostal muscles between your ribs stretch, helping the chest expand. It's a silent ballet inside you. No audience, no applause, just function and grace. A siren wails somewhere in the distance, but it fades quickly, like a thought you choose not to hold. You focus instead on the warm air touching your nostrils, the slow drift of your chest, the rise and fall like ocean tides. Even in sleep, your body will remember this rhythm. It will carry you gently, breath by breath, through hours of dreaming. Oxygen will still reach your brain, feeding the neurons that spark your imagination. Carbon dioxide will still be released, carried back through veins, expelled like spent. Stories. There is nothing more natural than this. Nothing more sacred than this cycle of in and out. You are a tide, a breeze, a heartbeat in harmony with billions more. As you sink further into stillness, you begin to realize something quiet but enormous. You are not alone in this rhythm. Every living thing breathes. Even the earth itself seems to breathe, swelling. In warmth during the day, cooling into stillness at night. You lie there, breathing with the city, with the soil, with the stars. And it comforts you to know that all of this is connected. You don't need to chase the thought. You don't need to understand every part of it. Let it float like breath on a window pane. You take another slow inhale. Longer this time. You let it fill you. You let it soften the space behind your eyes. You let it carry you closer to sleep. And just before your mind begins to dissolve into the night, a new thought arrives, gentle and curious. What is this? Light that glows beyond your window. And how does it shape the way you see the world? The first light appears slowly, without a sound. Somewhere outside your window, a single lamp flickers on, orange gold and quiet, as though it knows the night has just begun. Then another joins it, and another. Soon the city is glowing like a constellation born from concrete. You watch without needing to move. Just your eyes, adjusting gently to the shift in brightness. There's a science to this, a soft unfolding of the senses. Your pupils, round and wide in the dark, narrow slightly as the lights outside begin their evening chorus. Tiny muscles, inside your eye contract, responding to even the subtlest increase in light. They do this without asking you, without fuss. It's part of who you are, written into your biology. Your eyes are no longer just observing. They're participating. Inside. Your retina, rods, and cones begin their silent dance. The rods are the quiet ones, sensitive, steady, made for shadows. The cones are more precise, color-tuned, detail-focused, but requiring more light to work their magic dot together. They translate the outer world into something inner. You don't just see the skyline. You absorb it. Photons, tiny packets of light, leave their source, whether from a lamppost, a window, or a distant office, still lit by someone working late. They travel across space, slicing through air, brushing against dust. And then they reach you, passing through the cornea, bending through the lens, landing softly on the back of your eye like a whisper. Each photon carries a message, a color, a shape, a direction, and your brain decodes it instantly. You look, and you understand, but the glow outside isn't just an image. It's a memory in motion. That neon sign across the avenue, you saw it on your first walk here. That amber light above the bookstore, it reminds you of a rainy evening long ago, when you stood under its awning, waiting for someone. The skyline itself, now silhouetted against the deepening night, is not just metal and glass. It's emotion, reflected back in steel dot, and all of it begins with light dot. It's strange, isn't it? That something so intangible can shape how we feel, how we remember, how we dream. You let your gaze soften. The lights blur slightly at the edges, forming halos that ripple across the glass. Your eyelids flutter. Your breathing syncs with the pulse of brightness outside. Light and dark, both necessary, both alive in this moment. Biology and city life merge here. Your circadian rhythm, tuned over millennia to the sun and moon, still tries to make sense of this new world, where day doesn't end when the sun sets, and night is never fully dark. Artificial light gently nudges your inner clock, telling it the day is longer, the sleep can wait. But you, tonight, choose otherwise. Choose stillness. You choose to let the light be a companion, not a command. Its glow doesn't keep you awake. It guides you inward. Think of this. Your eyes are one of the few parts of your brain that are visible from the outside. They're not just sensors. They're part of your mind, reaching out, taking in data, and turning it into dreams. Every flicker of light becomes a feeling. Every pattern of brightness becomes a thought dot, and yet, in the deepest dark, your brain can still see. Close your eyes for a moment. Do you notice it? That soft afterimage? That lingering trace of light on your closed lids? Even without sight, the glow remains, stored like an echo in the folds of your perception. This is called visual persistence, the way your brain holds on to light a little longer, just in case you still need it. It's comforting, isn't it? To know that your body doesn't let go of beauty too quickly. To know that even in darkness, light has left a trace. Outside, more windows bloom into brightness. The skyline becomes a kind of mirror, not reflecting your face, but reflecting your presence, your aliveness, your awareness. Every lit window suggests someone else out there, perhaps watching the same sky, perhaps wondering the same things, perhaps remembering something too. You wonder then, how much of what you see is real, and how much is reflection. The line blurs, softly inside your eyes. The optic nerve carries all these images back to your brain, a constant stream of light-encoded information. And somewhere deep within, your visual cortex pieces it all together. It doesn't just show you the city, it helps you understand it. It adds emotion to architecture, memory to motion, meaning to shape. That's why a skyline can feel like a poem. That's why a flickering street light can make you cry. Your brain doesn't draw the world. It paints it, and light is its favorite brush dot as you rest. The city's glow grows steady, not harsh, not urgent, but consistent, like a lullaby hummed in color. You let it sink into you, not to keep you awake, but to carry you deeper into your own thoughts. You remember a firefly once, its glow in your cupped hand. So small, so alive, so miraculous. Light as life, light as signal, light as memory. And as you breathe now, slow, present, soft, you feel your thoughts begin to loosen. They're not gone, just drifting. Like distant lights in a foggy harbor. Like the skyline, dimming slightly as your focus turns inward. There is more to learn, more to feel, more to let go of. And as your mind settles, one last thought flickers quietly in. If this is what light reveals, what stories are held in the warmth that never leaves the ground? Heat lingers, long after the sun has dipped below the horizon. After the light has faded and the sky has cooled to indigo, the ground still holds the day. You can feel it, radiating up from the sidewalk, from the walls, from the bricks and rooftops that drank sunlight all afternoon and are only now exhaling it slowly into the night. You lie still, sensing that warmth in the air around you. It's not the sharp, direct heat of noon. It's soft now, diffused, like a memory repeating itself just beneath your skin. You wonder how long it takes for heat to truly leave a place. Outside your window, the buildings seem to hum with invisible energy. Nothing glows visibly, but you know the heat is there, tucked inside stone and steel and asphalt. The sidewalks still shimmer slightly under the street lamps, like they're sighing. The metal of a parked car holds the day's fire in its frame. Even the trees seem quieter, their leaves suspended in warm stillness. This is the city's secret. It remembers the sun, and not just in spirit. In science. It's called the urban heat island effect, the tendency of cities to remain warmer than the surrounding countryside, especially at night. Concrete, glass, asphalt. All these materials absorb heat more readily than natural ground. They soak it up during the day like a sponge, and at night they release it slowly, like a story being told over hours instead of minutes. Your body does something similar. Your skin, too, holds warmth. During the day, it acts as a barrier and a thermostat, absorbing heat from the sun, regulating your internal temperature, keeping you balanced. And at night, as your core cools to prepare for sleep, your skin releases that stored energy. It's part of the rhythm, the pattern, the design. Even your thoughts seem warmer in the dark, not agitated, just slow, like lava moving underground. You think back to your childhood, maybe. Warm summer nights spent barefoot on driveways that radiated comfort. The smell of hot pavement after rain. The feeling of sitting on a stoop or porch, the stones still heated from the day. You didn't know the science then, but your body understood. And now, lying in your room above the gently simmering streets, you understand too. The warmth around you isn't accidental. It's built into the way cities live and breathe. During the day, sunlight bounces between glass towers and sinks into dark rooftops. Parks and rivers try to balance the effect, but the city's surfaces are vast and hungry. At night, that stored heat is given back, bit by bit. This is why the city stays warmer. Why sleep comes differently here. It's why summer in New York feels like a slow burn. And yet, it's not unpleasant. It's a heat that cradles more than it overwhelms. Like the last ember in a fire. Like a hand on your back. You imagine the Earth's surface as a skin, alive, textured, and reactive. Buildings rise like bones. Roads stretch like veins. And heat flows through it all, just like blood. The planet holds warmth, the way the body holds memory. And in that warmth, there is story. The sidewalk outside your building? It remembers decades of footsteps, of shadows cast by passing people. The bricks in your wall have felt thousands of sunrises and sunsets, hundreds of storms and dry spells. Even the blacktop in the street has melted and cooled and melted again. Across seasons and years, everything holds on a little longer than we think. Even you. The warmth in your chest isn't just temperature. It's memory, a remembered embrace, a favorite sweater. The press of sunlight on your skin during a walk that meant something. Heat is not only physics, it's emotional. It's connective. You rest your hand lightly on your chest and feel your own warmth. It's comforting, steady, present. Your body temperature is a conversation between your brain and your environment. Deep in your brain, the hypothalamus regulates your internal climate, adjusting blood flow, controlling sweat, guiding shivers. Right now, it helps you cool. It senses the evening settling and gently shifts your body toward rest. At the same time, the city continues to glow, not in brightness now, but in warmth. You picture the buildings as sleeping animals, their surfaces exhaling gently. You picture the sidewalks as heated blankets spread across the earth. Even the air carries that invisible softness, heat moving from one molecule to the next, like secrets passed between friends. And in the space between that, movement. You find stillness. You let yourself dissolve into it. Your breath slows further, in sync with the subtle drift of temperature around you. It's almost imperceptible, just a few degrees, a few whispers lower than it was before, but you feel it, and your body responds. Sleep becomes easier in coolness, but you need the warmth to get there, just like a memory needs a spark, just like the sun needs the earth, just like you need this moment. You start to imagine how the city would feel in complete silence. No cars, no footsteps, just the warmth of yesterday pressing out into the air, just the slow hum of walls cooling down. There is something deeply human about the way heat moves. It does not rush, it lingers. It reminds you that presence lasts even after the moment has passed. And so, as your body begins to soften, your skin cooler than it was an hour ago, your thoughts gently glowing like coals under ash, you wonder if a single tree can survive this warmth and this night. What quiet stories live inside its leaves? You see it every time you walk down 7th Avenue. A tree, tucked between concrete slabs and storefronts, standing beside a lamppost like it's waiting for someone who never arrives. It doesn't shout. It doesn't bloom with extravagance. It just stands quietly alive in the middle of everything. And tonight, beneath the soft spill of streetlight, you notice it again. Its leaves flutter slightly, stirred by the same breeze slipping through your open window. You imagine its roots stretching far beneath the sidewalk, finding paths through centuries-old soil, wrapping themselves around forgotten pipes and fragments of glass. It's been there for years, maybe decades, holding its place without needing to be noticed. You inhale slowly. Somewhere in your breath is a molecule of carbon dioxide, and somewhere in the tree, a leaf waits to receive it. That's where the journey begins. The quiet miracle of photosynthesis, still happening, even here, even now, in the heart of a city. You imagine the leaf as a tiny factory, powered by light, humming with purpose. When the sun shines, or when even the lamplight is enough, it opens itself to possibility. It absorbs carbon dioxide from the air, water from the roots. And then, in the chloroplasts, small green, light-hungry structures, the magic happens. Light energy becomes chemical energy. Carbon becomes sugar. Oxygen is released, like a quiet sigh of life. And you're part of that cycle. Your body takes in oxygen with every breath. It travels into your lungs, your blood, your cells. And then, after it's used, it leaves as carbon dioxide, ready to return to the air. You don't think about it, but your body is in constant conversation with the tree. You exhale. It inhales. You are strangers. And yet, you are deeply connected. The science is ancient. Older than the city, older than humans. Photosynthesis first appeared in bacteria over 2 billion years ago. Small organisms floating in shallow seas, transforming sunlight into survival. Over time, that process evolved into what we now see in plants, in trees, in the quiet green lives growing between our busy ones. Without it, there would be no oxygen to breathe. No food, no shade, no color. All of it born from light and water and patience. And here, on 7th Avenue, that lineage continues. You imagine the leaf above you as the descendant of oceanic ancestors, carrying the same instincts, the same recipe. For life, it doesn't know how complex it is. It doesn't have to dot, it simply reaches toward the light. Even artificial light is enough to stir its cells into motion. Even here, beneath neon signs and bus fumes, it persists. You begin to feel a strange kind of kinship with the tree, not because you share the same space, but because you share the same rhythm. You both exist by giving and receiving. You both are shaped by what's around you. You both know, in some unspoken way, how to keep going. There's something deeply calming about that you picture the carbon atoms in your breath, invisible, weightless, ancient. Some of them may have once been inside a dinosaur, or a cloud, or a forest long gone. Now they float into the night, toward the leaves. The tree doesn't question. It simply accepts and transforms. It uses sunlight to break down water molecules. The hydrogen helps build sugars. The oxygen? It's released back into the world, the very oxygen you might breathe in a few moments from now. This is the cycle that sustains life on Earth, repeated trillions of times a day, in forests, in parks, on balconies, and yes, beside lampposts. On 7th Avenue, you smile, just a little, because it's easy to forget, sometimes, how alive the world still is, even in a place where everything feels built by hands, towers, roads, wires, machines. Nature finds a way to remain. Not loudly, but faithfully. The tree doesn't demand attention. It doesn't compete with the skyline. It just grows, rooted in the past, reaching for the future. And now, so do you. You feel the warmth in your chest, a slow bloom, like sap rising through a trunk. You feel your thoughts settle into place, like leaves finding rest after wind. You feel time stretch out softly, unhurried. The city no longer buzzes in your ears. It hums, like background music to something older, deeper. You imagine the tree, asleep, not in the way humans sleep, but in its own way. Cells slowing, water movement reduced, photosynthesis paused for the night. A rest phase, a moment of silence. Even plants have circadian rhythms, internal clocks that align with light and dark. At night, genes activate to support repair and storage. The tree is resting. So are you. And in that stillness, something opens. Not your eyes, but something behind them. A sense of being part of something wide, slow, and sacred. A system that has worked for billions of years, without applause. You are not separate from nature. You are nature, wrapped in skin and story. You close your eyes. You feel your breath. You remember the leaf. You remember the light. You picture the root system underground, vast, quiet, branching out beneath the surface like thoughts in the dark. Trees in cities often share these hidden networks. Roots touch roots. They exchange nutrients, signals, warnings. They whisper in their own way. And suddenly, you wonder, if trees can talk beneath the soil, what do they say about the people who pass them by? A taxi moves beneath your window. Not fast, not loud, just steady. A yellow streak of light crossing dark asphalt like a comet coasting through a silent galaxy. Its headlights stretch across the road, catching bits of dust in their beams, brushing. The sidewalk in brief, Golden arcs dot, then it's gone. But the movement stays with you dot. It echoes in your mind like a wave rolling through, water long after the stone has sunk. You lie still, and yet your thoughts begin to drift. You think of motion, of what moves and what remains, of how even in stillness, nothing truly stops. Somewhere far beneath you, the earth turns. You don't feel it, but you know it. Spinning slowly, precisely, over 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator. And you, resting in your bed, are part of that quiet momentum dot. It's comforting. Somehow dot you are never completely still. Even now, you are gliding, carried forward by the rotation of your planet, drifting through space with a speed too vast to feel. You blink slowly, and a thought enters. Why do things move? The answer, like most things in the night, is soft and layered. It begins with inertia, the tendency of objects to keep doing what they're doing. If something is still, it stays still. If it's moving, it keeps moving, unless something intervenes. It's a law of motion, but also a rhythm of life. The taxi moved because a force acted on it. The tires spun. The engine burned fuel. Friction pushed against inertia. And then, motion. Everything is a conversation between push and pull, between gravity and resistance, between will and surrender. Your body understands this without needing words. When you walk, your muscles contract and release. Your center of gravity shifts. And with each step, physics and biology merge into action. Even when you reach for something, a glass of water, a curtain's edge, your body performs countless calculations in an instant. But tonight, you don't need to move. You only need to remember how it feels to move. The memory of motion lingers in your limbs, the weight of walking, the sway of trains, the bounce of a bus turning too sharply. All of it stored somewhere beneath skin and thought, like motion waiting to be dreamed again. You imagine the city from above. Cars tracing rivers of light. People pacing sidewalks like electrons, circling atoms. Everything in flux. Everything part of a system. Even now, inside the stillness of your room, your blood moves. Through arteries and veins. Through tiny capillaries. Branching like tree limbs dot your heart beats, not with noise, but with rhythm. A pulse. A pattern dot, it is motion that keeps you alive. Motion that brings oxygen to your cells. Motion that carries away what no longer serves you. You are a galaxy of movement, wrapped in skin and silence. You close your eyes and feel it, the deep internal sway, the rise and fall of your chest, the faint pulse in your wrist, the steady hum of digestion, circulation, restoration. Even sleep is not the absence of motion. It's a different kind, slower, quieter, brainwaves shifting, muscles twitching. The eyes, beneath their lids, drifting in dreams. You think again of the taxi. Where is it now? Maybe a passenger sits quietly inside, watching streetlights pass like stars. Maybe they're going home, or away, or nowhere in particular. Everyone is moving for something, for someone, for the quiet space between places dot, and here you are, unmoving, and yet fully part of it all. You wonder, if motion shapes the world, what does stillness do? Perhaps it prepares. Perhaps it listens. Perhaps it's the quiet space between heartbeats. The moment of peace before the next motion begins dot outside, another car hums by. Slower this time. Its tires whisper across the road. You imagine the physics at play. Friction, torque, gravity. Forces seen only by their effects. And you begin to feel it. The universe is always in motion. Atoms vibrate. Planets rotate. Tides shift. Even the moon, still and distant, is circling us endlessly. Nothing is ever truly still. Not even you. And so, as your breathing slows, and your mind begins to drift again, You let the motion carry you, not outward but inward. Not fast, but gently, like a train leaving the station of thought and heading toward a landscape of sleep, one where neurons light up in dreams, where memories replay in new combinations, where movement becomes metaphor dot, and just before you surrender to the quiet, one final thought arrives, soft as a breeze, gentle as a wheel turning in the dark. If your heartbeat is a bridge, what pulses beneath it, waiting to be remembered? There is a bridge beneath you, a long stretch of steel and stone connecting boroughs, stories, and time. The Brooklyn Bridge has stood here for more than a century, its cables taut, its arches high, its foundation rooted deep beneath the rivers. Surface, it doesn't shout its strength. It simply is, holding weight, enduring weather, carrying motion. And as the city breathes around it, the bridge remains. Tonight, you imagine it from above, a silver line across dark water, glowing faintly under scattered streetlights. Quiet cars pass overhead, their tires humming softly. Across the planks, below, the East River flows like a thought in slow motion. You lie still, but your thoughts begin to move, not with urgency, but with curiosity. You, too, have bridges inside you. Inside your brain, countless connections form and dissolve in silence. Every idea you hold, every word you've ever spoken, every memory that stirs at the edge of sleep, all of them made possible by synapses, tiny gaps between neurons. And across those gaps, something extraordinary happens. Your brain contains about 86 billion neurons, each one reaching, branching, communicating. They don't touch, yet they speak. Electrical signals travel down the axon of one neuron, reaching the synaptic cleft, a microscopic space between it and the next. And then, neurotransmitters leap the gap. Just like that, thought moves. A chemical messenger crosses a bridge, not made of stone or steel, but of trust, repetition, and electricity. That's how you remember names, how you feel things before you, can explain them. That's how your body knows how to dream. You don't have to try. Your brain builds and maintains these pathways all on its own. It's been doing it since before you were born. Even as you sleep, these bridges stay alive. This is called synaptic plasticity, your brain's ability to adapt, strengthen, or weaken its connections depending on experience. You're not the same person you were yesterday, and not just emotionally, structurally. With each new idea, each new moment, your mind physically reshapes itself. The bridge evolves, not with bricks, but with biology. Not with engineering, but with energy dot. The Brooklyn Bridge was once considered impossible. When it opened in 1883, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world, a feat of vision and risk. Workers spent years carving foundations deep into the riverbed. Steel cables were spun high above the water, and slowly, connection became reality. Your neurons do the same. They build under pressure, through repetition, across time. You think of that as you lie in stillness, how your memories were not formed all at once, but through gradual layering. The sound of your mother's voice, the feeling of your first snowfall, a street corner that always makes you turn your head. These are not static images. They are networks, built and rebuilt as your brain organizes your life into meaning. Just like the bridge, your mind has arches, deep curves of thought supporting the weight of experience. Your hippocampus, named after the seahorse it resembles, is the part of the brain most responsible for memory formation. It's where short-term moments begin their journey toward permanence. It's where today's thoughts become tomorrow's knowing. But memory isn't storage, it's construction. Each time you recall something, your brain reassembles it, slightly different, slightly new. You remember not just the thing itself, but The last time you remembered it. The bridge and the brain both change over time. Steel ages. Paint fades. Footpaths are reinforced. Likewise, your neural pathways shift. Some memories sharpen. Others blur. Some disappear altogether, like fog rolling in over a distant span dot, and still, the structure remains. You may forget a name, but remember a feeling. You may lose a detail, but keep the rhythm of a laugh. Your brain is not a machine. It's a storyteller. And the bridge is one of its symbols, because bridges are more than architecture. They are intention made solid. They are promises. Here and there can be one place. Now and then can be one thought dot. As you lie quietly, you begin to feel it, the gentle weight of all your crossings. Times you've gone from confusion to clarity, from fear to comfort, from being alone to being understood. These are the bridges of the mind. Invisible, but real. You return to the river in your thoughts. The dark current flowing under the bridge. The water doesn't resist. It simply moves in. Your brain, too. Thoughts flow, not always in straight lines, but in patterns and tides. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Sometimes looping back before moving forward. And in this quiet hour, you wonder what it means to cross from one side of yourself to another. From wakefulness to dreaming, from memory to imagination, from what is known to what waits in shadow. There is no rush. The crossing takes time. Synaptic messages slow during sleep. Some shut down. Others flare with activity, especially during REM sleep when dreams begin. That's when new connections are strengthened. When insight forms in the quiet spaces left behind by the day. You might not remember your dreams, but your brain does. It uses that time to clean, to file, to build new bridges while the city outside rests. And now, as your body grows heavier with calm, you sense the gentle traffic of thoughts slowing, fading, softening. The signals grow quiet. The internal lights dim. The bridge is still there, but for now, you need only to lie across it. Let it carry you. Let it hold the weight of the day. Let it offer you passage into the next part of the night. And just before your thoughts dissolve fully into darkness, a final question hovers, gentle as mist above the river. If memory lives in the arches of your mind, what kind of light lives in the fireflies of the street ahead? You open your eyes for a moment, and the world outside is glowing. Not brightly, not fully, but in pulses, in flickers, in soft, rhythmic signals that speak more in suggestion than in shape. To your right, a streetlight bathes the sidewalk in golden. Haze, buzzing faintly, constant, mechanical. And just below it, barely visible at first, a tiny light appears, then disappears. A firefly. You wait. And there it is again, blinking once, twice, like a secret being passed in code. Another joins it, and then another, until the quiet air seems to hold tiny stars, drifting just above the surface of the evening. Their glow is not made to impress. It doesn't cast shadows or blind the eye. It's a whisper, not a spotlight. And yet, it holds your attention completely. You wonder, why do they glow? The answer begins in the dark. In the bellies of small bodies, where enzymes and oxygen meet molecules in a tiny, exquisite chemical reaction called bioluminescence. The word itself feels like poetry. Bio, life, luminescence, to shine. A light created from within. No wires, no switches, no batteries. Just biology, finely tuned by evolution to paint the night with purpose. Inside each firefly is a molecule called luciferin, a compound that reacts with oxygen in the presence of the enzyme luciferase. This reaction releases energy, not as heat, like most reactions do, but almost entirely as light. This is called cold light. And it's one of nature's most efficient miracles. It doesn't waste. It doesn't burn. It simply shines, clean and quiet. You close your eyes and imagine your body working in the same way. What if every time you felt joy, you glowed? What if wonder could be seen? In many ways, it already can dot your skin flushes when you're moved. Your eyes widen in awe. Your posture softens in comfort. The human body may not glow in the dark, but it radiates just the same. Still, something about the firefly's glow feels deeper than science dot. It feels like a memory of summer nights long ago, of chasing small lights through long grass, of holding one in your palm and feeling, for a moment, that you could understand magic. And yet, there is science here. Just beneath the magic, fireflies use their light to communicate, a language of flashes. Some signals attract mates. Others warn predators. Each species with its own rhythm, its own Morse code written in lumens. The glow you see is not random. It's intention, flickering gently dot, and beside it, the steady glow of the streetlight continues. Man-made, designed, unblinking. Its light is functional, strong, predictable dot, yet you find yourself drawing more to the flicker, to the space between the flashes, to the silence that glows. There's a calm in things that aren't constant, a peace in pulses, like a heartbeat, like breath, like thought, pausing before the next begins. You realize you don't need bright lights to feel safe. You don't need everything lit up to find your way. Sometimes it's in the dim, in the flicker, that clarity begins. You remember that some fish in the deep ocean also glow. They live in a world of blackness, far beyond the reach of the sun. And yet they shimmer, not to be seen, but to see. Some use light to lure, some to hide, some to connect. Bioluminescence. E is not just beauty, it's survival, it's adaptation, it's evolution using art as strategy. Even fungi can glow, lighting up forest floors with eerie green halos. Even plankton shimmer in waves, turning oceans into fields of stars. All this, light made by life. And now, back in your room, you breathe into the quiet, imagining your own glow. Not visible, but real. Your body emits tiny traces of infrared heat. Your brain pulses with low electrical currents. Your cells fire quietly in the dark. You, too, are a living system of quiet energy. And in the soft rhythm of fireflies and streetlights, you find a mirror. Not everything that shines is loud. Not everything that guides must blaze. Sometimes, the most important signals are the smallest ones. A glance, a smile, a pause before speaking, a flicker of light in the dark. Outside, the fireflies continue. A language without words. A story without sentences. Just presence. Just glow. And as you drift further inward, your thoughts become lighter, quieter, flickering in and out like their tiny companions. You don't need to hold on to them. They'll return if they matter. You let them pass, blinking softly, beautifully, into the growing stillness of your night. And just before sleep tugs you under, one final shimmer rises, delicate and curious. If these lights are signals in the dark, what does the river below reflect when the world forgets to look? The Hudson shimmers in the dark, its surface alive with liquid light. Not loud, not rushing, just moving. You watch from your quiet place above it, as the river rolls beneath bridges and reflections. It gleams like a memory stretched thin across. Time, the city glowing softly on its back. This water has seen centuries. It's seen the first canoes, the first ferries, the first dreams of buildings rising from mud. It's carried trade and tragedy, moonlight and morning fog, and now it carries your gaze. You look without needing to understand, and still, understanding arrives. Water does not ask permission. It simply follows the path of least resistance. It moves around what resists it, over what yields, and through what forgets to hold itself firm. And yet, it is powerful, a force shaped by softness. The Hudson isn't just a river. It's a tidal estuary where salt water and fresh water meet. Twice a day, its direction shifts. Tides rise and fall. Currents reverse. And the river, instead of choosing one identity, holds both. Fresh and salt. Push and pull. Arrival and return. You breathe in and feel something in yourself respond, because you too are made of water. More than half your body, your brain, your blood, your cells, all suspended in liquid movement. Inside you, water flows without sound, through your veins, through your lymph, carrying oxygen, memory, immune cells, quiet healing dot. It cools you. It cushions your joints. It shapes your thoughts, literally. Your brain floats in cerebrospinal fluid, a clear, silent sea inside your skull, protecting it, nourishing it, holding it gently through every dream. You are a walking estuary, a confluence of stories and silences, rivers of feeling, meeting oceans of experience. You imagine a single drop of Hudson water, lit briefly by a passing boat's light. In that drop, there might be salt from the Atlantic, molecules from glaciers long melted, traces of algae, microplastics, plankton, and somewhere, the same hydrogen atoms that once floated in clouds above Rome or Tokyo, or a long-lost rainforest. Moves like time, recycled endlessly, but never exactly the same dot, and it reflects. That's the part that stills you most. The way water can mirror light and sky and form, but never hold on to it. It shows, then lets go. You think of your thoughts, the ones that rise just before sleep, how they appear, ripple, disappear. Some are sharp, some soft, some heavy with memory, some light with nonsense. But none of them stay. They pass like reflections. Like clouds in river glass dot, this is not a failure. It is the way of water, to move, to mirror, and to leave. You watch a wave form, stretch, break against the edge of a piling. The surface smooths again, as if nothing happened. And yet, the energy moves on. Below, within, forward. This, too, is science. Hydrodynamics, the physics of flow. Waves transfer energy, not water. The molecule may rise and fall, but the force keeps moving. A hidden hand pressing forward through space. Your thoughts may not always stay with you, but their ripples shape your inner landscape. They stir something deeper. A current beneath. Awareness. An invitation to soften. And so, you do. You allow your breath to match the water's rhythm. Inhale, like a tide rising. Exhale, like a shore releasing the day. There is peace in this. Not stillness without movement, but motion without resistance. The moon above pulls on the river below, and you feel it. The slow gravitational conversation between body and orbit, between water and time. It's called tidal locking when the same side of the moon always faces Earth, held in place by balance, a cosmic stillness born of motion. Your heart does something similar. It beats in sync with your breath, with your quiet, with the world as it slows. You look again at the Hudson. It doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. It simply continues. You are the same. No need to force your thoughts to stop. Let them ripple. Let them reflect. Let them move on. You remember that water is patient. It cuts through stone not with strength, but with persistence. And just like that, you soften your grip on the day. You are the river, and the one who watches. You are the reflection, and the one reflected. Even now, as your body sinks deeper into comfort, your mind releases one more question. If light glows on the water, what stars wait to be found between the buildings above? You tilt your head back slowly, And there they are, stars, not many. Just a few, barely visible between the silhouettes of buildings. But they shine. Tiny pinpricks of light, steady and patient, suspended in the dark like secrets stitched across. Sky. You hold your breath for a moment, as if the stillness might help you see them more clearly. Above the city's hum, above rooftops and antennas, beyond the glow of streetlights and windows. Light from 1,000 years ago reaches your eye. It's hard to grasp at first that this light, faint and flickering, left its source long before cities were cities, before bridges, before asphalt, before your first breath. It has traveled through time, through space, across unthinkable distance, carrying information, energy, and silence. Each star is a story. Some are suns larger than anything your mind can hold. Some have burned out already, their last light still in transit. You are not just looking at the stars. You are looking into the past. This is the nature of light years, distance measured in time. 1 light year is about 5.88 trillion miles, or nearly 9.5 trillion kilometers. A unit not just of length, but of longing. When you see the star, Vega, you are seeing it as it was 25 years ago. For Sirius, about 8 years. For the faintest ones, hundreds, thousands, millions of years. Your body, your gaze, becomes a telescope for time. And yet, what you feel isn't distance. It's closeness. Something about the stars, even through skyscraper slits, makes. You feel gently held. The universe isn't cold in this moment. It's quiet. And listening. It watches as you lie here. A flicker in a city of movement. A stillness in a world of turning. And you begin to wonder, what are you in all of this? A thought. A breath. A heartbeat suspended in the space between galaxies. But also a witness. To be small is not to be insignificant. Your eyes contain cones and rods, cells attuned to absorb light, even when it is old, even when it is ancient. The photons hitting your retina tonight have traveled longer and farther than most living things will ever go. They strike your eye, transfer energy, and vanish. That moment, that tiny collision, is sight. It's not passive. It's a meeting, a joining of past and present, of cosmic story and human perception. And it's not just romantic. It's astrophysics. It's biology. It's the poetry of evolution meeting the mathematics of the stars. You are built to receive the universe. You are tuned to beauty without needing it explained. You close your eyes for a moment, then open them again. The stars are still there, but your perception deepens. You remember that some of the stars you see are not single points, but systems, binary stars orbiting one another in an eternal dance. Others are part of galaxies, clustered together like neighborhoods of light, curving through gravity, spiraling across space. And then you think of Earth, one small planet orbiting a very average star in a modest arm of the Milky Way. And still somehow here you are, on your back, between buildings, watching the night stretch above you. And you remember something small but profound. You are made of stardust. Literally. The elements in your bones, calcium. The iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe. The carbon that shapes your cells. All formed in the heart of ancient stars, fused in fire, scattered in explosions, gathered by gravity. That the same stars you look at now are cousins to the ones that built you. This is not metaphor. It is astrobiology. It is connection beyond myth. You are the universe remembering itself. A soft wind passes, and you imagine it carrying the whisper of galaxies, of cosmic background radiation, the echo of the Big Bang itself. Even silence contains messages. Even emptiness holds sound, just stretched thin to hear with ears alone. You breathe in slowly. Your lungs fill with night air, with molecules that may have passed through countless lives, countless stars, countless breaths. and now they move through you. It is humbling, but not heavy, that it makes your worries feel quieter. Not gone, just placed in better context. You are part of a motion older than memory, a system larger than any one life. And still, somehow, you matter. You offer nothing to the stars. They shine regardless. But they offer something to you, a reminder that beauty can arrive without demand. That light can find you even through the narrowest crack. You feel sleep begin to pull at your limbs, like tides drawn by lunar rhythm. You do not resist. Your body begins to let go, and your mind becomes sky. Thoughts flicker like distant stars, some fading, some flaring, all soft. And as your eyes close one final time, a question begins to form, like a new constellation, just beneath your awareness. If dreams are made of light and memory, what galaxies wait for you on the other side of sleep? And now, as our story gently fades, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this moment with me. Your presence here means the world, and your support helps me create even more peaceful journeys. Just for you. If this helped you rest, please consider liking, subscribing, or simply coming back tomorrow night. Until then, stay cozy, stay kind, and may your dreams tonight be soft, serene, and full of wonder. Good night, my friend. With warmth, David.